Tell me when.
Good.
Okay. This is the parallax agate that we are going to.
Never done this before.
This is the, hello.
Everybody's sitting at home bored, right?
Everybody's at home board, so I figured
So are we.
we would show you how to polish a parallax agate slab. And I'm going to leave the back rough, and I'm just going to polish the base. So, and this is our high-tech diamond 6-inch cabbing machine. I love this puppy. And we are going to add a little bit of water to it so that we have.
What grid are you on right now?
I'm on 600 grit because it's got a really smooth uh, cut, so it's not going to take a whole lot of grinding.
Hi, I'm Denny.
Yeah, Denny's doing the being my videographer today. So here we go. And you just set it down and hold on to it because it will slide out of your hands. And we're just trying to smooth all the little pieces that aren't quite smooth right now. And I'm unfortunately probably blocking the view, but because this agate is almost the size of my grit pad, I kind of have to. So I'm going to pull it up off of the pad, and then I'm going to smooth these edges out a little bit. Okay, there. Now they're a little bit smoother. There we go. Now we're going to go back to the face. Okay. And like I said, it was already pretty smooth when we started, so it won't take much on the 600 before we move up to the 1200.
How fast is that thing going, CJ?
I think I only have it on 800. I can probably move it up, the RPMs up a little bit.
Notice the adjustable on the high-tech diamond. Ooh, adjustable RPMs.
Yeah.
That's because it's a DC motor, and you can do that.
He's the tech guy. I'm just the rock person.
Okay, well, 15 minutes ago we had hail.
Yeah. And we were going to bag it.
I'm going to go get on the laptop so I can chat with y'all.
So basically what we're doing is we're just smoothing it down, making sure that all the face is completely level. And by the sound, I can pretty much tell that it's almost to the point where I can take it to the 600 level, or the 1200 level. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. Yeah, it's definitely looking really nice. Yeah. There's a little spot right up there that I need to smooth out a little bit more. But other than that, it's almost ready for the 1200. There we go. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking really good. And if you recognize this, it's because we used it in our video definition of an agate. Check it out. So now we're going to turn the water off. Turn the machine off. Very important. Always turn your machine off before you try and change the grip pad. But the grip pads are really super easy to change. You just center it. Make sure that it stays centered. Tighten it down. Like I said, don't be a gorilla, man. It only has to be hand tight. Make sure that your shield's all the way down to the bottom. And turn it on. Turn your water on. Make sure that your pad is wet before you put your stone on. And have at it. And I think I'm going to turn up the RPMs a little bit more. Making sure that the entire rock base is touching the pad. Kind of move it around a little bit. Just kind of work it. I guess I should get my hand out of the way. Sorry about that. It's a little bit awkward working this big of a stone on a 6-inch. Honey. And as you can hear, you can barely hear the stone on the machine. And that's because it's really smooth. So we'll be going up to the 1400 grit here in just a few minutes. Sorry about the noise. The wind is kind of trying to kick up. But we are working this machine on the deck of our second-story apartment. So as you can see, it's perfectly compact and easy to use even in an apartment. And you don't need a real hard touch. A softer touch is better. So you just kind of work it around to where all the face gets worked in. There we go. And you just whoa. Like I said, you got to keep a hold of it. And as you can see, I've got a towel over here, so it'll show me areas that need to be worked. Let me get it out in the sunshine. Well, I'm going to put it out in the sunshine in just a second, but it is really starting to polish up nice. There's a spot right here that needs to be worked a little bit more. So there's a little spot right here in the middle, and that's where I'm going to be working right now. But other than that, it's starting to really polish up pretty.
Okay, guys, I can't be on the laptop because this is not coming out nearly as clear as we wanted it to.
Sorry about that, guys. He's the videographer. I'm not. I'm the rock polisher and the rockhound.
Hi, Karen. Hi,
Hi,
Karen.
Karen. Hi, Karen. Hopefully you're having a good day, even though everybody's under house arrest. But stay home and stay safe. It's a good thing. So just working this one area to try and get it flattened out, or polished up, I should say. Okay, now I'm going to pull it back up, see how well that's polished up. Yeah, and then there's that.
Yep, gotta keep your hands on it.
Yep, you got to do that. So I'm going to dry it off so it'll show me exactly where the places I've got to work. Okay, there's still a area right here that's not polishing up real well, but the rest of it is looking fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got some.
Yeah. Okay. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to go back to a deep grit to get those scratches out.
Here, let me try, CJ, so they can get a look.
Okay.
Let's see if I can. There we go. Now you guys can get a look. See the glare on it there? Glare. There we go.
So I'm going to go back to a deeper grit, like a 325.
Let's see if I can turn it sideways here. There we go. See the polish there? Yeah, you can see it. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is the one we used when we did definition of agate. So we're finally going to polish it up. Forgive the lighting, the wind is blowing pretty hard right here. Pretty cool. Looking pretty good there, honey.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can.
But it's going to look icky here in a second because I've got to go back to a deeper grit, a larger grit to get those scratches out.
So sometimes that happens when you're working with it.
Sometimes you got to go take 2 steps back to get 2 steps forward. So we're on the 325 grit, and we're going to get the pad wet. Also keep an eye on your reservoir, because that is what creates your water pressure. Okay.
I'm going to try and zoom in for you guys so you guys can see what she's doing down there. She's just filling up the sump right now, the water feed right up at the top. It's kind of a cool little unit how it works.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go back to 325 like I said.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I hope that's not too much for you guys. I can't see on the laptop. It'll give you some idea. Maybe she can use mushrooms. There you go.
So,
Can you see that, you guys? I hope.
honey, you want to do a shot straight down?
Because I'd have to lift the camera off here and it'd be a mess.
Okay. So it shows you what I know about videoing.
Whoops. My bad. Okay. Let's go back that way. It is live, so
And I should have...
now they can see just about the top of your head, maybe.
Okay. Since I forgot my safety glasses, and those will at least protect my eyes, and then I'll be able to see. Ooh. And I'm just working that area that has those deep scratches in it. You can see where my fingers are placed. That's the area that needs to be in contact with the pad, with the grit pad, so that it can actually ease up or ease those scratches and make them a little bit smoother. I'm hoping I don't have to go down to 180 grit. Sometimes, like I said, you got to go back 2-3 steps before you can go ahead, move ahead. And I'm just putting pressure right on the area of the rock that I want to smooth out. Okay, now I'm going to turn the water down a little bit because we got quite a bit of water already in there. There we go. There. And you just want to work that spot. Okay, I'm going to pull it up. See if we got it smoother. All right. Well, no. The scratches are looking better. I don't know if you can see the glare, but they are looking better right down here. But those are awfully deep, so I may have to go back to 180. But we're going to see if I can get it to where it'll work out. Because I am starting to see some of the scratches smooth out. So basically the difference in the grits are the lower the number of the grit, the bigger the grit size is. So the higher the number, the smaller the pieces of diamonds are. And basically you're scratching the heck out of a rock and each grit makes the scratches smaller and smaller and smaller until it's almost smooth to the point where your eye and your finger cannot see the scratches anymore. It's kind of an interesting concept. And then the polish, the diamond paste, puts a very, very fine polish on all those microscopic scratches. So now we're going to pick it up, wipe it off again, see if we're making progress. Okay. And we are making progress. I've only got one little spot right here that's left. It's the scratch spots are right here. Yeah. Sorry about the glare, guys. But it's starting to come out, so we're going to continue on. And you thought tumbling tested your patience. Haha. Uh-uh. It's done, the polishing is done a lot quicker than tumbling, but you can only do it one rock at a time. And sometimes you gotta step back and just take a breath.
What makes up a parallax agate?
Okay, a parallax agate is when the fortifications almost have a holographic effect. When you bend it, it looks like they move. It looks like they move even though they're static. And that creates the illusion of movement. And that's a parallax agate. Okay, so we're almost to that point. See if I can get that tucked in there. I know you're having trouble seeing it. I'm so sorry. But we're going to have to work on the camera angles a little bit. Sorry. But this is an experiment. Okay. So, trying to get it to where it will get those scratches much smoother. And for this pickup, I'm actually going to shut the machine down so that it doesn't go flying. Okay. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but the scratches down here are lessening quite a bit. So it was a good idea to go back to the 325. I still got a little piece there and a little piece there. So we're going to continue to work it. And although you can't see it, I've actually tucked a piece of the rock underneath the shield. And you can work with the shield off. It's just it's really wet and really, it sprays water everywhere. But if you're out in an area where that doesn't matter, you can work without the shield. It's not recommended. One, because of safety, and two, because of the water. So, as you can see, I'm putting pressure right where those scratches are. You may not be able to see the rock, but you can see the pressure. And you just want to keep that pressure on to get the rock, the grit into that area of the rock you want to work. Okay. Kind of shut it down again. Well, no, I think I'm going to work it a little bit more. But I want to change the angle that I'm working on the rock. And when your rock is this big, you really want to shut it down. Not corona. Or not coronavirus, guys. Just many years of working with silica and rock. Okay, so I'm going to wipe it down. And it definitely is working. It's definitely working that spot. That spot covered this whole area. So it definitely is getting those scratches out. We've only got a little bit left, and it's right at that spot. So we're going to work it some more. Okay. You can actually see that spot where my finger is behind the rock, and that actually is where the scratches that are left are. So I'm going to place it in, and I'm going to turn it on, and the pressure is only going to be at that spot so that I can make connection with the grit pad to smooth those scratches out. And it is almost there. But it's interesting how just those little bit of scratches detract from the beauty of the rock. Our eyes are unique things, and most of us, our eyes are attracted to the area that's different. And the last thing you want the eye to go to is scratches, because they're not smooth like the rest of the rock. So you want the difference in the rock face to be the parallaxing, not scratches that you missed. So work a little bit more. I'm still on 325. Okay, I'm working. Okay, just to recap, I'm working the Parallax Carnelian Agate on 325 grit pad to get rid of some scratches that, when I took it up to 1200, became extremely noticeable. So we had to go back down 2 pads to get rid of those scratches. So just working it, and that I have one spot left that is okay. I'm going to shut down the machine, and I'm going to check that spot again. I'm wiping down the rock.
You can talk to Karen too.
Hi, Karen. So
Hey, Missy Karen.
Okay, we are almost there. We've just got one spot right here. It's almost gone. So definitely is almost out of there. Yes. There's a little spot down here, but when I put it on 180 grit to smooth out the edges completely, that will, huh? Okay. What we're doing is we are base polishing a Carnelian Parallax Agate, and right now we're on 325 grit pad. There's still little scratches on the face, but we're almost to that point where we can go back up to a higher grit. So we're going to go back on. I'm just going to mark my place where that spot is. And we're turning it back on. And I've switched the direction because if you keep going in the same direction, you're going to create deep scratches on the areas that don't need it. So I switched directions on the grit pad, and we're just continuing to work it. And the main point of pressure is right on that spot that has that deep scratch. But you kind of put pressure on all of the rock, but don't put a hard pressure. Just put a real gentle pressure, except for that one spot that you really want to work out. And from what I'm hearing, there's still a little bit, but it's almost to that point where we're going to be going back up to the 600. We're going to work it just a little bit longer. Who joined us, honey?
Waiting for him to tell us.
Oh. Pop up and say hi. Leave a comment so we know who's watching besides Karen. And is it Karen Heplin? Hi, Karen. Missing you, love. Okay, so now we are going to stop the machine again. And we're going to pull it up. Yeah. All right. So. Okay. So we are. Honey, you need to give me directions. So that spot is still there. The rest of it is looking really sharp. That spot right there, right where my pinky finger is still, I can still see scratch marks. But they're lessened quite a bit. So we might be going up to 600. There. Can you see that? Okay, let me move my hand out of the way. Okay, the videographer is going to come correct me. Sorry, we're trying. Okay, So maybe,
Let me
okay.
Okay, can you guys see that spot now? It's hard to tell because the laptop shows it being kind of out of focus, but there's some glitter, glare, whatever from the sun to help you a little bit.
Yeah.
See how shiny and polished it is?
Yeah, and there's just that one spot right there.
Good.
Okay, so, oh, honey, could you hand me my coffee, please? I really could use some coffee. Oh, you're an angel. Thank you. All right. Sorry, guys. I got to have my go-go juice. All right. So, we're going to go up to the 600 grit. And I just noticed another little spot. What? No, I think I'm thinking I'm going to work it on the 300, 325 instead of going up to the 600. And it's right here. It's a V point. So,
Remind them too that it's better to catch this stuff while that
yes,
325 grit is still on there so you can actually.
exactly. You don't want to keep. It's better to catch it now than have to go back and do it again. So, I'm going to work this spot right here. And I might work a little bit more on the spot right there and right here. So, back to the wheel.
Notice how she places all of that.
So, the reason why I place the rock before I start is because this is a bigger stone. Normally, I would have the wheel running and I would be using it and tapping the stone and shaping it. But because this is close to my palm size, as you can see, the palm of my hand is more than 6 inches. So you've only got about 4 inches of what? Anyway, so the palm size, you only have like this much working space. And so you want to maximize that working space as much as you can. So setting the rock down before you start makes it ever so much easier to hold on to the rock. And that's the real reason. And we're just working it a little bit more. Huh? Yeah, it is very quiet. And that's mainly because of the fact that it's so smooth except for little spots. And you just kind of put the pressure on those little spots and work it. And you'll be able to hear when you hit those spots. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pressure up here. And just kind of work that area. And then I'm going to flip it off because I think we're about ready to go to 600. Yeah. All right, now I'm drying the stone. And it's a good thing to dry the stone so you can actually see the areas that need work. Oh, that's looking much better. Much better. There you go. That is looking spectacular. Okay. So how's it looking on the laptop, honey? Well, sorry guys. I don't know what's going on. He's the videographer. But we're going to go up to the 600 grit now. And I'm going to set this right here. And we're going to shut the water off. Pull the shield off. And if you happen to be working on a balcony of a second-story apartment, it's a really good idea if you're going to put your shield up to make sure that you don't push it out so far that it goes off the deck. It can be a real chore. Okay. And one thing when you're changing out your grits, make sure that it's centered so you don't have any wonky movements when you're working the rock, because if you do get wonky movement, it'll become a wobble, and that'll mess up the polish. So there we go. And we're going to grab our stone. And it is looking good. Okay. So we're going to place it on. Oh, you can hear the difference. Boy, you can hear the difference. Wait, we got a wobble. So we're going to pull it back off. And we're going to center it because obviously it's not centered. I can hear that. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay. I'm not perfect, guys. I am human. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to set it. There we go. All right. And you can actually hear the difference between the 600 to the 325. You can actually hear where the 600 is working those scratches. And as it works the scratches, the bigger the grit, or the bigger the diamond size, the louder it's going to be. The smaller the diamond size, the smaller the sound will be. But it can get pretty noisy, especially on the 180, the 60, 100, and 180 grits. They get real loud. Okay. Jenny's fixing my lighting. I just want to do a huge shout out to my wonderful honey, Dennis Siegelstrom, because without him, I would not look near as good. He does all the magic, and he makes me look so good. And Mother Nature looks like it's going to threaten a little bit more, so we might have to go pause on this. Last time we tried to go live, it started hailing, so at least we got some in. And we're about ready to pull it up and see how the polish is. But Just going to work it a little bit more and put pressure on all the areas. Okay, now we're going to turn it off, dry it off, and we're going to see how well that polish is doing. Wow. That is really coming out good. How's it looking, Denny? Denny, how's the picture looking? Okay, so we're going to continue to work it a little bit more. Oh, this, you know, it's the creative process that gives you such Zen time. And Zen time is really needed in this time. I don't know about y'all, but I'm certainly missing my rockin' time. My rockhounding days, it's really one of those things where you don't notice how much you miss it until you can't do it. And usually for rockhounds, that's every winter. So we were really looking forward to springtime this year to get out there and go rockhounding. And this whole virus pandemic thing has really put a kibosh on people that love being out in the outdoors. The stay home, stay healthy order. It's okay. So, okay, if you're just joining us, please shout out, leave a comment, say hi, so we know who's with us. And what I'm doing is I'm face polishing a Carnelian Parallax Agate that we used in definition of an agate, the video. And I'm leaving the back rough and gonna face polish the front. We are on 600 grit right now. And it's looking really, really good. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna shut the machine off. Here in just a second, I want to see if I can't get that area. Okay. And now I'm going to shut the machine off so I can pick it up without losing it. And dry it off, and you can see what we're doing. And it is looking good. I'm getting a little shaky. Okay. Thank you, Denny.
Let's see if I can get it in focus.
Ah. Okay. He's giving me a break so I can get some go-go juice.
Now you can see the sun on it, you guys. See that? Getting really nice.
Yep.
See the trees and the shine.
Yep. It's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to flip it around so that I can work this area on top. So we're going to place it down and we're going to turn the machine on. Oh, and guys, just to let you know, higher RPMs does not always mean faster, because rocks have a totally different timeline than we do. Their time is much, much slower than ours. So, although we can speed things up somewhat, you gotta kind of respect the rock's timeline. It took it a long time to become this beauty. So you gotta kind of go slow and let the rock's inner beauty come out. Uh-oh, that tree rat's looking up here.
Better known as a squirrel.
Yeah, I call them tree rats. He's gone back down. Okay. So, as I was saying, you got to respect the rock's timeline, because it's not all about us. What?
Oh, it is a technical problem.
We're working the lighting out. So, and we have the big umbrella up just to make sure that in case it does start raining, I don't get wet or electrocuted. Okay, so now we're going to pull it up and see where we're at, see if we're ready to go to the 1200 grit. All right. Trying off the rock. So, oh, now that. The wind is kicking up too. Now that is going to be a sexy rock. See if I can't get that shine to show up. It's not? There. Oh. That is looking so sexy. So we are headed up to 1200 grit. All right.
Oh, easy it is.
Yeah, I love the ease of changing grit pads. It is just so nice. And I do recommend that you set these grit pads out kind of to let them dry so that you're not putting them away wet. Because as you can see, they're just press board with a diamond embedded pad on top of it. So it's better, well, like any press board, you definitely want to make sure that it's dry before it gets put away. All right, now we're on 1200 grit, and as you can see, they color code the grits, 325, 600, 1200, which is kind of nice, because then even if you don't have it marked, you can actually, we have ours marked just to make sure, but you can Mother Nature is being interesting today. Oh, and I am out of water, so I'm going to fill up my reservoir again. And this is just a dollar store planter waterer. And there we go. Okay, so, and we're going to place the rock on. And sorry, we're experiencing Mother Nature technical difficulties. But the sun is shining and we're playing with rocks, so it's all good. All right. Now we're almost. Oh boy. Yeah, I had to mention the sun was shining, didn't I? But it sounds like we're almost to that point because it's sounding really smooth. And it's amazing how when this rock gets real smooth, it gets real quiet. And it almost feels like when you have the rock on the wheel, it almost feels like.
Oh, beef farmer fan.
Okay, hi beef farmer fan. Sorry about that. Welcome. What I'm doing is polishing a parallax agate, Carnelian Parallax Agate slab, and I'm only face polishing it. I'm leaving the back rough. It's the agate that we used in definition of an agate. And we're on 1200 grit. And it's looking really nice. And we're just kind of working it. But I don't know if anybody's ever played shuttlecock or shuttleboard, where you push those little pucks down a runway. That's what it kind of feels like. That's how, when it gets smooth, that's how it feels. It's just like glass sliding on glass. There we go. Okay. We're almost ready to shut the machine off and check the polish. Just want to put a little bit more pressure on those trouble areas. Okay. And we're going to shut the machine off.
Farmer fan says, "Hi guys, the new machine looks great."
I love it. Thank you. These things are so compact and so wonderful. I just absolutely adore it. All right. Denny, how's it looking on the camera? He's going to come out and display it. Is it coming across the camera okay? Okay. He's going to come out and do the technical stuff for me. There you go. That way I can get a sip of go-go juice.
Evidently, there's a lot more people on the camera.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to come around because evidently there's a lot more of you chatting than showing up on my laptop. So I'm going to come behind the camera and help her out a little bit.
Okay.
So shout out if you're here.
Please do. All right. So it is looking really sweet. So I'm almost thinking of jumping up to the final polish, which is going to be 14,000 diamond paste.
14K diamond paste.
So we're going to pull this off.
And it goes up a lot higher than that, you guys.
Yeah, we've got 50,000 and 100,000. So you can almost polish glasses with it.
You can polish like obsidian,
Yep.
glassy type stones and stuff like that.
Yep. And they come out beautiful. There's the one I'm looking for. So we're going to set that in the sun just to let it dry. And we're going to grab this. And this is the polishing pad. So it doesn't require water.
And the polishes come in different colors too, which is nice.
Yeah.
It helps.
They color code
Helps you
their
identify
yeah.
Which pad is which.
They color code their they color code their grits paste just like they color code the pads. So we're going to use 1,400 grit paste. 14,000, sorry. 14,000 grit paste. And one thing to remember is, in this instance, less is more. You only put a little bit on, and I'm going to put a little bit out here so that we're okay. And it's got a little bit left over, so we're just going to pop that right in one of the trouble spots. There we go. And pull back the syringe a little bit so it doesn't keep pushing out the paste. And then you can pop it right back in there. So, as you can see, I brought some down here. And you just want to smear it in a little bit. Because that way, because this is a bigger stone, I want it on the outer part of the pad. So, here we go.
Notice she doesn't have to use the shield on this one because there's no water.
Yeah.
Whoa!
And guess what? It just blew off in my hand. And that sucks. That sucks. But
happen.
It does. And I guess we're going to just, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to put the shield back on.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to go retrieve the stone.
It happens.
But the interesting thing is that's the beauty of working with rock. It stays pretty solid. So here we go. There. There we go. Yep. You got to keep a hold of your work. And I'm going to go up to, and I broke my rule And because I broke my rule, I broke my stone. When you're working with a bigger stone, always, always, always start out. Okay, hang on a second.
Okay, I'm going to slide by and go back to the laptop. For a minute.
Yeah, now that he won't be hit with a flying stone.
Tilt it up a little. I think you put that on.
What? Yeah, well, we're missing a piece now, but it'll still look good. I unfortunately broke my rule of not starting out. Okay, now the stone is going to get hot, especially at this grit, or because you're not using water. So you want to pull it off and let it cool down a little bit. And interestingly enough, the polish, the oil in the paste actually makes it look like it's not as polished. But once I get working it a little bit more, you'll see what I mean. Okay.
Get your face out. There you go.
Okay, so now we're going to put it back on. The rock has cooled a bit. So we're just working that paste, allowing that paste to work its way into the minuscule scratches that are left. So now it kind of looks like Illinois. Okay. Another thing that I want to recommend is there is tip guards. If you're like me and you want to keep the rock in your hand instead of putting it on a chopstick, they do have fingertip guards. Good purchase. When you are working a stone and you go up to the higher grits and you see a scratch, don't hesitate to go back down a couple of grits.
Okay, Pete Farmer and says you can always polish the other side and call it Texas.
Yeah, I suppose I could. Okay, so now we're just gonna slow it down and we're gonna wipe it down. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to find a lint-free cloth to wipe your stone with, so that it isn't leaving yeah, little hairy bits on it. So there it is. We're gonna let Denny do it because he's the videographer. And while he's showing you that, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. I keep forgetting that. And we are so grateful for you guys viewing us. We enjoy what we do so much, especially me. I'm such a rock hound, and I love, 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 love sharing the knowledge of these beautiful, beautiful stones with everybody. And sharing the new tools that make our art easier. So keep tuning in with us, and we will we will keep doing what we're doing. We love you all, and stay home, stay healthy, stay well. Enchantment and rock wizardry. I knew better. I knew better than to start the machine. Dang.